morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and today's shout out goes to Manish Gowda 8641. Manish Gowda 8641 was first to say first in one of my recent videos, and thus wins this shout out, so congratulations. Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and I got a neat new airplane for you folks. This is the Kootai A505 J3 Cub. Now, those of you who have been subscribers to the Quadcopter 101 channel may notice that this is very similar to something I've reviewed before, namely the JJRC W01. And indeed, it actually is. It's a rebranded version of the W01 from Kootai, but with a different paint scheme on it. Different looking paint scheme, and they changed a little bit about the controller here. Namely, they removed the LCD screen off the controller, which was kind of useless in the original W01. There was no use for it other than telling you the battery power in the controller. So that's about that. Let's keep it at that. Okay, what is this not W01, A505, other than a rebranded version? It is a 3-channel airplane, folks. What does that mean? We have rudder control, we got elevator control, with via servos. So there's the servos, and we also have throttle control. So the only thing we don't have control of is the ailerons in the in this A505. Now, where does that come into play? Well, on windy days, those ailerons might come and be handy if this is stabilized. And it is stabilized, and we'll talk about that here shortly. Other things about the airplane: it has a 500 millimeter wingspan. It's constructed of EPP crash-resistant foam. It's able to take. It's supposedly able to take pretty good bumps. Those of you who've seen the W01 commercials, there's one of the engineers for the W01 demonstrating its crashworthiness by flying it into brick walls and throwing it hard at the ground on concrete. I am not going to do that, folks. That's just being crazy. But it's supposedly crash resistant. Now, it weighs only 65 grams, and that means that this does not require registration in most countries. Probably nearly all countries, actually, since this does not have a camera installed on it. So you can keep that in mind. Again, you do not need registration to fly this in most countries. Now, it has really nice tires on it, I got to say. These are EVA rubber tires. That's ethylene vinyl acetate, similar to this stuff that's on the sole of your tennis shoes, folks. So, they are kind of nice tires, but they are lightweight at the same time. I can tell the feel of these. They're very spongy, in other words, to get that lightness. There's a lot of air bubbles in it. Now, there's 2 versions of this aircraft available. This is the ready-to-fly version that comes with a controller, and there's a bind-and-fly version that's compatible with your own transmitter. If you have a DSM transmitter, or what's the other one? Futaba, I believe. Yeah, Futaba is the other for the bind-and-fly versions. You can either use the Futaba transmitter or DSM transmitter. Now, that bind-and-fly version costs $10 more, folks. It's a more expensive airplane. So if you're and you have to provide your own transmitter, so I don't know about how many people would want to get that one, but I'm assuming there are people out there that don't like these toyish transmitters here that want to use their own transmitter and will probably use that bind-and-fly version. Now, I tried multi-protocol on this, and the original JJRC W01 could use the V911S protocol with E119 sub-protocol. Now, I did try that with my jumper, and I could not get this to bind. So there seems to be a difference in the receiver on this versus the original W01 in that I could not get it to bind with my multi-protocol transmitter. So I'm giving you a heads up there. Now, this is powered by 3 0720 motors, okay, inside there. Triple 0720 motors. That gives it plenty of power, plenty of torque. This is a very similar setup to the WL Toys F949, which was the original type of setup like this. So that tells you again that this is probably JJRC, and that JJRC was a subsidiary of WL Toys. That probably still is, actually. And this airplane is also powered by these 3.7 volt 500 milliamp hour square batteries. Now, these batteries supposedly give it up to 20 minutes of flight time. We'll see if that's true when we actually take it out in the field. Now, this is also 6G and 3D switchable.
Now, what is 6G mode? That means it's stabilized, folks. It's fully stabilized for beginners. It makes it very easy for beginners to fly and very hard to crash when you're in 6G mode. Because if you get into problems with the transmitter, you just let go of the sticks and the aircraft will automatically right itself and stabilize itself in 6G mode, fly straight and level. Also, in 6G mode, there are angle restrictions. And what are the angle restrictions? There's angle restrictions in pitch. It won't let it pitch up or down a predetermined angle. The idea being it doesn't want to flip over. The gyro stabilization system will prevent the aircraft from flipping over. And that goes for roll too. There's angle restrictions in roll when 6G is turned on. Now, when you turn on the 3D mode, there is still some stabilization of this aircraft, but it turns off the angle restrictions. And that enables you to do actual loops with this aircraft. And we'll try to demonstrate that when we take this out into the field to fly it. And let's talk about the controller already. I did mention that the protocol is not V911S E119. I tried that again. But folks, as this goes out and more people get it, we'll figure out what that protocol is for the body protocol transmitters. But again, I wasn't able to bind it with my jumper. Now, this particular transmitter, let's go over the buttons on this. Notice I have some play here in what would normally be the rudder. However, this is inoperative. Okay, the right and left on the throttle stick. Only the throttle works on this particular controller on the left stick. And these trim buttons are inoperative on the left stick. This is the power button here, and this is your pitch and rudder control, since this is a 3-channel aircraft. So we got pitch, and this also activates the rudder, left and right on this stick. And we have pitch trim and rudder trim available on this. Now the buttons on this button here is for rates. There's beginner and intermediate rate. Let's see if I can give you it beeps. You hear the 2 beeps, 2 beeps and 1 beep, 2 beeps and 1 beep. So 1 beep is beginner rate, 2 beeps is advanced high rate. In other words, it'll give the control surfaces, the rudder and the elevator, more play, more up and down play or right and left play when you put it in high rate. And that comes into play when you're doing acrobatics. And to turn off those angle restrictions so you can do those loops and rolls for acrobatics, you press this right button here. And that will turn it off, momentarily turn off the stabilization system to allow you to do loops and rolls. Actually, it just turns off the angle restrictions when you press this button. And again, if you get into problems, say this aircraft goes inverted and you don't know what to do and it's headed to the ground, just quickly press this button one more time, and the aircraft will immediately and quickly right itself, or try to right itself before it hits the ground and go into stable flight. So that's how that works, folks, that button there. So that is the Kootai A505 in a nutshell. Let's take it out to the field, folks, and see how it flies. So hope you enjoy this flight. Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here. Welcome to a beautiful day here at Pleasant Ridge Park near Girard, PA for the inaugural flight of the A505 Cub. Okay, to turn this on, we need to first plug in the battery on this. And to do that, we need to open up this door. Now notice where I insert this battery. I put it as far forward as I can into the bay here, and I put it vertically like so. That'll hopefully prevent it from bouncing around in flight if you get it up front and tight. Here, now I moved it. But hold on while I readjust it. Okay, see, I've inserted it like so, and then I'm pushing the wires in. And I'm going to start doing this for the other airplanes that I review as I review them. You know, a lot of folks here wonder how you get those batteries in there. Some of them are really tight, like this one. So then I put it on a flat level, relatively flat level surface, which is my bag here. Turning on the controller and up, down to bind it. So we should be ready to go. Let me check the surfaces. Left turn, right turn, down, up, centered, and throttle. Okay, we are good to go then for the inaugural flight. So let's see what it does. Give me a throttle in. Okay, now I'm in beginner rate. It's bouncing a bit because we do have wind today, reducing throttle a bit. This is beginner rate. Let's try full left on beginner, full right on beginner, bouncing around in the wind. Okay, let's go to higher rate. Intermediate rate, we got much more bank angle. Reducing throttle a bit. But yeah, much more turning authority on that rudder. Whoa, you can almost, yeah, you can flip it over. Let's try 3D. Okay, we'll try it again. Give it throttle. Oh, there we go, loop. And a barrel roll. Oh, it does it nicely. Okay, let's bring it down. I'm leaving it in 3D mode. It is somewhat semi-stabilized in 3D mode. I'm going to stay in 3D mode for now. And do a loop over my head. Does it stabilize letting go of the sticks? Yes, it does, kind of. Oh, the wind's hitting it right now. I'm going back to 3 or 6G and back to beginner rate. We got a bit of a wind there. So let's bring it in close here. Fly it around real close if I can. So yeah, this is a W01 and essentially with a different color scheme. Increasing throttle, going the other way. Going that way. It's a beautiful day today, ain't it? Pulling sticks, banking and yanking. Let's try that again. Banking and yanking. Back in high rate and also expert because I want to do some more loops. That's a nice loop. So yeah, this does loops nicely. The W01 I originally reviewed did not. I had problems with mine. I don't know why. But this one loops quite nicely. So in expert mode, was it 3D mode? Oh, it's getting bounced up here. I'm going back to beginner rate and taking off 3D mode and cutting back on the throttle too. It's gliding right now. I want to see it glide. Oh, wow, it glides nicely. Look at that glide. This could be a slope soarer, I think. And with that in mind, the wind's coming from the lake, and there is a lip over here, folks. Let's try that. There's a ridge here, a slight ridge, that I use quite a bit for slope soaring. Right there. Oh, there it goes. Yeah. I'm walking over this way. We're going to use this lip over here. See how this thing slope soars. See if I can slope soar it. Cutting the throttle off. Gliding, 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 gliding. Oh, I've got to turn the throttle back on. Okay, see this ridge right here? We're going to use that and see if we can slope soar with it. But yeah, this is a nice beginner's plane. Let me call that right now. It seems to be a nice beginner's plane, although it is kind of not noisy. It's real breezy right now, folks, and it's handling it. It's doing a good job. Coming around, slope soaring this way. Okay, that's enough of that slope soar there, but it's holding it. But yeah, you can hear the transmission in it. Those 3 different motors running in unison there. You can hear them. They're not quiet. But it sure looks pretty, that yellow up here against the blue sky. I like to do these circles around me. Okay, let's go back to higher rate and back to 3D and do a loop way up there. Putta, 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 putta. Barrel rolls up there. Roll over. It's going to do a wing over. Up and over. You know, this 3D rate's pretty easy to fly on this thing. Oh, the wind is hitting it pretty good. Just gliding up there. Gliding, gliding, gliding. Boy, it's just hovering up in the sky there. Gliding with no power. This is a nice beginner's plane. Very docile. Especially on a day like today. Still in 3D rate. 3D rate still. Reason being, no, tried to do a loop there. Okay, turn off 3D mode for a second here because I want to come down low. Low and slow if I can. Low and slow. How low can I go and how slow can I go? There are people out there who like to fly indoors. So I'm trying to see if we can do, if this can do such. Maybe this can fly indoors. Yeah, sure. Why not? So yeah, you can fly this one indoors, I'm pretty sure. I think you can. Folks out there with the W01, how many of you have flown indoors with it? I think this one can do it. Okay, back in expert rate. A low loop. So yeah, I'm doing loops with this now. But yeah, the original W01, I think the problem was I couldn't find this 6G button. The instructions on that were awful on the W01. So I wasn't sure about the 6G button. Oh, this flies nice. Trying to stall it, folks. It don't want to. There's a starling. The starling's noticed it. I'm going to fight with the starling up there. It's a very maneuverable little thing. In high rate. I'm in high rate right now. You can yank and bank this thing. And even, let's go back to 3D. Push it down and pull it up for a loop. Yeah, even 3D on this is easy because it is stabilized in 3D. The 3D mode on this is similar to mid mode on the Warbird series, so it's still semi-stabilized there. Boy, that wind's hitting it. Look at it, just wanting to move here. Just stay right there. So very low throttle, just hovering there with the wind. This is the upslope updraft I'm getting from the lip here, and it's just hanging there in midair. Look at that. Okay, coming out of 3D mode, going back to 6G, but high rate, because I want to go back to the slope soaring here. It seems to be working right now. It's just hovering in that wind. That wind's hitting that ridge there, trying to get it to go up with that wind. There we go, I got some lift there. I'm trying to use minimum throttle to stay in the air and use mostly the wind. There we go, slope soaring right now. Going on this ridge line here, off of this ridge line here. It's working. Let's get it to go up higher. It's going up higher and higher, and let's cut the throttle. Ooh, cut the throttle. Those little guys are chasing me. That starling up there. Bop, 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 bop. Bop, bop, bop. Bop, 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 bop. If I had machine guns on this. Gliding, gliding, gliding. Cool, huh? I like this plane. Yeah. The yellow version of the Cub. It sure can yank and bank, can't it, folks? I still haven't installed it. Not yet. Let's try it. I'm trying. It don't want. Can't you stall this thing? I can't stall it. That's okay. That makes it good for beginners. Now I would like to try landing it on that dirt. Well, no, I'm not. I don't want to mess it up. I don't think I did the tabletop in this yet. That's why I don't want to mess up the look of it. Whoa, why do I do that? I always go through the sun. I know better than that. So we're getting some good flight time with this. Coming back down. Zoom. Oh, 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 oh. I gotta land it, folks, for a second. Hold on. I'll show you why. Come back here. Ooh, nice landing. My stick came off, and it's on the ground somewhere. Hold on, folks. Let me fix this problem. I pulled a little too hard on this stick there. There we go. Get you back in the air where you belong. This is a good plane, folks. I like it. I endorse this one. Nice plane for beginners. This receives a quadcopter 101 endorsement for beginner flyers. It's fast. It's actually really nice speed. Very docile, but you can really do wild things with it too. Yank your bank if you know what you're doing. What I'm doing, folks, is I'm giving a full right stick and pulling back on the rudder, or pulling back on the elevator to make those real hard banking turns. That's what you do with 3-channel. You go diagonally like that. Oh, there goes the stick again. Let me hang on to this stick. I'm flying with my thumb right now, folks. The stick came off again. Okay, let me put that stick back on again. I see what I did. I broke off the bottom of it, the lip there. I'm going to have to glue that in there. But actually, I would like to learn what the protocol is on the jumper protocol, multi-protocol. Oh, that's it anyways. That was the end of the flight. So, yeah, I would like to learn the jumper protocol. So, folks, whoever finds out what the new protocol is for this Kootai Cub, please chime in, because I want to fly it with my multi-protocol receiver or transmitter. But that is the Kootai Cub from Kootai. Nice airplane, folks. I like it. Very easy to fly. Very maneuverable, just the right speed and maneuverability for beginners. So it is a good drone for beginners, or good airplane for beginners. So hope you enjoyed this flight. It's Quadcopter 101 signing out.
Hi, Quadcopter 101 here again. Hey, if you want to get your own shout out in one of my future videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel. It's real simple. Just go to my channel page and click on that subscribe. And also make sure to click that bell button right next to the subscribe button. That way you get notified when I release a brand new video immediately and give you a chance to get that first shout out. So give it a try, folks.